Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, this is going to be a very fun video because I know how much you guys love cosmetic items and skins and stuff like that, so I thought it would be fun to go over all of the reactive items in the game because there's actually a ton of reactive items that I didn't know were reactive, and again, I mean the category of reactive items that like change in game after doing certain things, so I thought a bunch of these you guys might not know as well. And also, you know what, let's play a little game with this. Let's see how many of these items you know are reactive, and as always with these little games, basically how you play is you keep track of how many of these you know throughout the video, and then once we get to the end, you compare how many you knew with this little chart right here, and then you comment what rank you got down below. It's a fun game. It's sort of like a little bit of a Fortnite expert quiz, so yeah, be sure to do that. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's video or learned something new, be sure to hit that like button down below, and on top of that, a lot of these items are actually pickaxes, so you know what, comment down below what is your like go-to pickaxe. What is your favorite one in the game? For me, it might be the Reaper pickaxe just because it has such a satisfying sound. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys say. But yeah, guys, let's start it off here with a really cool one. And this is kind of a tough one. I don't think a lot of you will know this because at first it wasn't a very popular pickaxe. And yes, this one is a pickaxe. Most of the items are pickaxes. Other ones are like back blings, things like that. But this pickaxe, not a ton of people got it. It wasn't that popular. And that is the Herald's Wand pickaxe. It's this one right here. It comes with those, you know, sort of Plague Doctor inspired skins. And it is a very interesting pickaxe by itself. I didn't get it personally because at the time I don't think it said it was reactive. It was actually like updated recently to say it was reactive, and I think they might have added the reactive thing to it, but I was able to find somebody in replay with it, so that's kind of cool. But yes, this pickaxe right here is reactive. Now what exactly does it do? I looked around quite a bit, and what I believe it does, I don't have it personally, so this could be a little bit off, but supposedly it glows brighter in reaction to the storm timers. That's right, guys, the timer in the top right, like under your minimap. But supposedly the little hourglass on the pickaxe itself will glow brighter, I believe 30 seconds before the storm starts moving. I think it may or may not start glowing brighter 30 seconds before the storm stops moving. Again, not 100% sure about that, but I am pretty sure that it reacts to the storm itself. So yeah, that's a very cool feature, especially if it does do like 30 seconds before the storm starts moving, because that's like a little reminder to actually get moving because the storm's going to start moving. But it is definitely a very interesting reactive item. Getting into it with the next one here, this is one of my personal favorites, and this is a fairly easy one. I'm sure a lot of you know that this one is reactive, but it's a good example to sort of start out this video because again, I think some of these items coming up will definitely be a surprise to you that they're actually reactive and do special things. Anyways, the Rainbow Smash Pickaxe. This is like the main item that you think of when you think of like reactive items, so it is a good one to start out as an overall basis for the other ones. But yeah, this one I actually have. So like as you can see right here, it has the reactive symbol down in the lower right corner. Also it says reactive under the name. This one doesn't specifically say what it does, but that's pretty straightforward and you can figure it out in game. So how this one is reactive, you may have seen it, but when you first get into a game, like starting it out at the very beginning, and you know what, there's two special things to this. This first one I don't really think is the reactive part, but you may have not known that the eyes on it actually follow you around wherever you're looking at it. So if you're looking at it in replay mode, the eyes will follow you around as you like rotate around it, or if you're just another player looking at the pickaxe, the eyes will follow you around. It's very interesting, but that's not exactly the reactive part of it. The specifically reactive part is that when you get eliminations with it, the horn on the llama itself starts to glow, and when you get more eliminations, it continues to get bigger and bigger, which definitely can be pretty interesting. I believe the cap is around 7 or 9 eliminations. Not 100% sure about that, but it does for sure, you know, grow. So yeah, definitely pretty interesting right there. After that then though, let's talk about a back bling. Again, we got a few back blings in this one, and usually when you think of back blings, you don't really think of them being reactive. However, they have added some reactive back blings recently, and personally I hope they add some more in the future just because they are pretty cool. But yeah, this first one I want to go over is the Clockworks back bling, and it is the one that comes with the Ludwig skin. So yeah, you may know where I'm going with this one, but the Clockworks back bling actually has a little clock on it. Now the reactive part about this is supposedly that it actually tells the real life time of whatever your console is set to, or like whatever your PC is set to. So that's a pretty interesting thing in itself because you can keep track of what time it is in game by looking at this back bling on the back of your character. I don't know, I just think that's kind of funny. On top of that, however, I also believe that the little llama on the top actually pops out whenever you get an elimination. It also makes that little like sound like what you usually hear with these types of things in real life, but usually it's like a bird. It's not a llama, obviously. Do you know the little sound I'm talking about? Like the bird will pop out and like chirp or something. But yeah, the little llama's like hidden and then he pops out whenever you get an elimination. At least I believe that's how it works. So yeah, pretty interesting there. But moving on to the next one, you know what, let's talk about another back bling real quick that is reactive, and I'm sure a lot of you have, but gotta include it in this list. That is the Elim back bling. This one is pretty obvious, so we're just gonna go over it real quick. quick. But in case you don't have it, this back bling actually counts your eliminations. So when you get into a game, it'll start off as this little like crosshairs, and then once you start to get eliminations, it will start counting them, and then it keeps going up for every elimination you get. Pretty straightforward, but it is a pretty cool feature because then it makes it easier for people spectating you to see how many eliminations you have, which is pretty fun. After that then though, let's talk about an item that I believe may or may not be the first reactive item ever to be added into the game. So maybe you know where I'm going with this, but yeah, this is kind of like Fortnite history right here. This was one of the first pickaxes ever added into the game, or at least like I'm pretty sure it was in the first 10, and it may or may not actually be coming back soon. So the one that I'm talking about right here is the candy cane pickaxe. That is right, guys. This is one that you rarely ever see in game, or I guess it's actually called the candy axe. But yeah, you rarely ever see this one because it hasn't released outside of the Christmas event that happened last year. So again, since Christmas is around the corner, this one may or may not release soon. We did see like the Reaper pickaxe re-release, and that one was only released in Halloween. So hopefully, you know, this one will come back. But yeah, how exactly is this one reactive? Well, you may or may not know that when you get eliminations with this pickaxe, the lights on it start to glow one by one. And some of them have like different colors, but it goes around for like each elimination. So the more eliminations you have, the more the little light bulbs will glow. Now, I'm not 100% sure how many of them do glow, and I'm pretty sure it's like these bigger ones right here that glow. And there's not a ton of those, so I believe it's the first 3 that light up, and then maybe the other small ones light up after that. But either way, it is a cool little feature, and this one could maybe come back soon, so it's interesting to see. Keeping it going here with the next one, though. This one is actually like the twin of one we already went over, so we won't spend a ton of time on it, but it is the Thunder Crash pickaxe. That is right, the one that's sort of like the dark version of the Rainbow Smash pickaxe, and it is definitely a very interesting one. I've seen a bunch of people with this one, so you may or may not know where I'm going with this. So yeah, as you can see right here, I was able to find somebody in a replay with it, and basically how this one is reactive is when you get eliminations. When you continue to get eliminations with this one, the horns on the top will start to get bigger, and they also start to glow in a certain way as well. Now again, I believe there is a max limit to that. I think it's around like 9 eliminations or something. Not 100% sure about that. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have this pickaxe, does it also, like the mouth of the llama on the pickaxe itself, does that start to open and like breathe out steam once you get more eliminations? I thought I heard somewhere that it does do that, but I'm not 100% sure. So again, take that with a grain of salt, but if you guys have it, be sure to leave a comment down below if it does that or not. And then after that, guys, talking about another harvesting tool, this one is a very interesting one. This one is probably the most unique reactive effect out of every single one of these items that we've been talking about and are going to talk about still, and it's such a crazy one. So the item I am talking about here is the harvesting tool, the Vuvuzela. And a Vuvuzela is like, you know, that little plastic thing they use to make this weird sound, especially at like soccer games and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people don't actually know the unique reactive effect of this one because it's so hidden. So what you need to do with this one in order to even trigger the effect is to go to one of the many soccer fields around the map. Now, when you're at one of these locations with this pickaxe equipped, when you score a goal, the pickaxe itself will make this really loud Vuvuzela sound, and then it also shoots out confetti from the top. And the confetti is pretty similar to the one that's actually from the goal itself, except it will fly out from the top of the pickaxe. So yeah, it makes that special sound, and it also has confetti for when you score a goal on one of the soccer fields. I don't know, that's just such a unique effect. It really is quite interesting. So let me know down below if you have this one and you didn't know about that effect. I'd be curious to see how many of you there are. And then for the next one here, this is another harvesting tool. It is called the Jingu Bang, I believe. And fun fact, that name actually comes from a magic staff that was in a 16th century novel called Journey to the West by Anthony Yu. So pretty interesting right there. But yeah, this one as well is pretty secret because it was released before they actually had like the reactive descriptions for the items. But it's a pretty awesome reactive item. Now, the way that this one works specifically is that once you have it out and you're like harvesting materials, once you start to swing it like 4 or 5 times, the top actually starts to glow in this sort of orange fiery type look. Again, this is just a recreation of that. I don't have this one unfortunately, but yeah, a decent amount of the top actually starts to glow. And again, this only happens once you hold down for like 4 or 5 swings, and then after like 3 to 5 seconds of you not swinging it again, it'll start to go back to normal. So you know, it is a pretty interesting little effect overall. It's a more simple effect. It's nothing too crazy, but it actually adds a little bit to this one. And I don't know, I just love talking about these little secret effects to the items. But keeping it going here with the next one, we gotta get into it with one of the recent skins, actually, Dante, and also I believe, what is the other? Rosa, right? Actually, that whole set, I believe the pickaxe has the same effect as well, and also the back blings. But yeah, the effects on these skins are pretty straightforward, and as you can see, I have one of them right here actually. Their special effect is that they glow in the dark. So as you can see, in the daytime, they're the pretty normal colors, but they are different colors overall. And then once you get into nighttime, it starts to glow a little bit with, you know, different different colors. And I believe that's the same for Rosa, but it is pretty interesting to see the skin change over time. Again, it's not a huge change, so it's not the biggest reactive item, so it's not the most interesting reactive item in the world, but it is something to know about. Keeping it going here with the next one though. This is a similar type skin that came out recently, the Deadfire skin and also the Shackled Stone back bling, and I guess you could also add to that the Pickaxe with it as well. These ones I'm sure you guys know about, so I'm going to go through them fairly quickly, but with them, they have 3 different stages. There's the normal stage, which happens at the beginning of the game, as you can see, and then once you start to move through the game, in terms of time spent in game and also dealing damage, the items start to react. Like, I believe once you get to the second stage, everything starts to get like this dark purple, as you can see, and the outfit itself is the one that changes the most. But then once you get to the third stage is where everything gets pretty interesting, because everything starts to have like a little bit more of a glow to it. Like, the outfit has these green little flames flying around it. The pickaxe has that bit of green as well, and also when you swing it, you got that green trail, and also the back bling glows even more. So overall, it's a very interesting combination and definitely a pretty unique effect. And you've probably been seeing me use it a little bit in game, so you probably already know about this one. But either way, be sure to tell me below if you like this type of effect where it's like based on damage and time survived in game. But then guys, for the final reactive item I want to talk about, this one is the Ghost Portal. And this one has a few different reactive things to it. So if you go into a game and you have the Ghost Portal, again, you got it with the Skull Trooper challenges, whatever. But it has additional effects for eliminating opponents. Now, I believe like the first effect is that it has this quick glow to it whenever you get an elimination. And then after like a couple or a few eliminations, it starts to have this trail behind it as well. But for sure, like when you get eliminations, it makes that little bit of a glow. I don't know if that has a max limit or not, but it is pretty interesting to see. So yeah, it is definitely a pretty cool back bling. I'm personally quite a bit of a fan of it. So yeah, guys, how many of those did you know? I'm curious to see what rank you guys got, so be sure to leave that comment down below. On top of that, be sure to subscribe if you're new for more fun videos like this coming out in the near future. Also, be sure to check out some of my previous videos here, such as going over a bunch of clues for the Season 7 story, and then on the right, a bunch of changes to the recent update. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.